video on how to operate one of these Montgomery Ward, or better known as Gilson S-frame series garden tractors. I know some of the controls, they're easy to operate. Sometimes they can be finicky for how wore out the tractor might be, or how much play the linkage might have. And I know I've seen a lot of these tractors repainted, and some of the decals have been painted over, so some of the controls you might not know what they do. So I want to make this quick video, just go over some of the things and some of the differences between variable speed and hydrostatic models, as well as power lift versus just manual lift models of tractors. So let's get into it. All right, for starters, I wanted to go over the linkages and stuff like that on this side of the tractor. Firstly, you got your clutch and your brake pedal. It's actually in the same pedal, not two, on like a car or a truck. When you push the pedal about halfway in, sometimes it can be a little different on other tractors because of, like I've said before, some of the linkages might be wore out. But once you push it halfway in, it declutches the tractor, which allows you to shift into another gear. Once you push the whole ways down, it applies the brake. If it doesn't want to really hold the tractor in position, what I mean by that is if the tractor still wants to roll, even with the brake applied, I can show you a picture up on screen, but there's a way to adjust the brake shoe, and it's just two nuts. You just loosen one up, tighten the other, and then tighten the last one up, and that gets the shoe tighter around the brake drum. One of these days I'd like to make a video on how to replace those brake shoes, as they're no longer available, as the Gilson tractor company went out of business in the 80s. But it's a very simple job, and like I said, one of these days I'll do an in-depth video on that. But on to other things. Here is the PTO lever. This is disengaged, this is engaged, and all it does is turn this rod, which tightens the belt up front to engage the PTO assembly, and that's used on the tiller, snowblower, mower deck, stuff like that. And one of these days when I do more videos on the other attachments, I will show you that in more detail. Now for the controls on the transmission tunnel, just pretty simple controls. You got your gear shifter here, your parking brake, your lift lever for the hydraulics, the variable speed lever for the transmission, which pretty much what that does is when you're in third gear, say third gear, fourth gear, first, second, reverse, whatever gear you're in, you can go faster or slower in that gear. A gear shift model won't have this. All it will have is the parking brake and the gear shifter. To engage the parking brake, you just got to push the pedal the whole ways in, pull this lever back to engage it, and it just locks the pedal from lifting back up. The hydraulics backwards is down, I believe, if I remember correctly, and forwards is up. This tractor was originally equipped with a manual lift, which is just a lever, but the previous owner added the power lift, which is nice because then I can go over the manual lift versions, as these power lift version tractors weren't as common, considering they were a couple $100s more back in the day. For someone that just needed to mow their lawn, it wasn't that big of a deal to have to move the lever. Right here is the lift arm for the attachments. It's pretty simple. Whenever you don't have a power lift system on the tractor with the manual lever still on here, there will be a little button that pops up out of here. You push that down and you're able to pull this lever forwards to lower the attachment, and pull it backwards to lift the attachment. This one I'll show you, but there is a little arm down lower that you use to attach all your linkages to for your attachments, whether that be the tiller, mower deck, front blade, snowblower. You might have seen it in my other video on the snow blade, but it's just a little arm that hangs down, and you can also adjust that arm. I've never had to, but you can adjust it by just removing a bolt, spinning it for different styles of linkages and attachments. So right there is that lift linkage I was talking about. Pretty much all it is a little arm that hangs down to, lift and lower your attachment. The sleeve hitch is currently on this tractor, so there's a little metal rod that goes out the back to lift and lower the sleeve hitch. It's pretty much the same deal with the tiller. All you got to do is have a different rod. So that's really the only difference between the sleeve hitch and the tiller, linkage wise, I should say. A snowblower, or as a video like I already made, the front plow, it just has a 3/4 inch pipe coming up to connect to there, and then also connect to the attachment. But that's used for pretty much every attachment that moves. If it's hydraulics like the loader or the sickle bar mower, it will not use that. But if you're wondering what that does, there you go. Since we're already at the back of the tractor, I wanted to go over this hitch pocket in the back. Right now, as you can see, I got the sleeve hitch on, but there are 2 holes here and here. That is for the sleeve hitch. As far as I can tell, I don't believe there's any other attachments as far as I can find in my books and in my manuals, as well as sales brochures. There's no other attachments that use those 2 holes other than the sleeve hitch. So there's just 2 pins and 2 cotter keys that hold the sleeve hitch on, and then there is a linkage here that goes to that lift rod I was talking about a moment ago. In here, you'll see there's 3 holes at the bottom as well as the top. Those are used for the tiller. So pretty much the tiller slides in that pocket. 2 pins go down through to hold it in, and then the drive shaft just goes out to the front, which I will get to here in a minute. That there can also be used for a hitch. I will say I hate trying to use that as a hitch, as you can't really get much play in there. So sometimes you will see a lot of these tractors with those modified hitches on there, either welded or bolted to it, because it's kind of hard to attach a trailer to that, because you can't get too much movement in there without jackknifing or bending the hitch of the trailer. So up front here, it's pretty simple. Back in the frame, you can't see it on video, but there are 2 little holes that are used for tabs of any front attachment you have on this tractor. That being the front blade, snowblower, tiller, drive shaft, composter, etc. Those 2 tabs stop that whole assembly from twisting. These 2 trunnion pins hold the attachment from falling out. So that's all they do. Really nothing to it other than the 2 idler pulleys under there. Those are only used on the mower deck. If you look at that video I was talking about of the front plow, there is a way to push them out of the way for when using the tiller or front blade or snowblower, etc. Alright, so real quick, I want to go over everything on the dash. Pretty simple. It's just switches and linkages. Right here you got the linkage to lock and unlock the hood. On the bigger Montgomery Wards, you'll have the bigger hood as well as the bigger dash, so the locks for the hood will be down on the sides. Over here you got throttle. Up is idled down, back is idled up. You got your choke. Pull it out to choke it, push it back in to de-choke it. You got your light switch. Pull it out to turn the lights on, push it in to turn them off. In order to turn the lights on, whenever your tractor is running, you can obviously turn them on. But if you just want to turn the lights on for something, you can just turn the key 1 click, pull the light switch out, and it'll turn the lights on. Now I'm going to show you how to start this tractor properly. What you're going to want to do first is make sure your foot is on the brake pedal and it's pushed down the entire way. You want to make sure this tractor is out of gear, because you don't want it in gear when you're starting it. If your foot were to slip, it'd drive away. And you don't want that. It could hurt someone, or it could damage the tractor or other things. You want to also make sure it is idled down the entire way, because you don't want to start it when it's idled up. If need be, you can choke it in colder days, or if the tractor would need a carburetor adjustment, you will probably have to use the choke. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Now that we're ready, you just turn the key and it should fire right up. Just like that. Pretty simple. Don't mind the dogs, they flip out when I start these things. But other than that, it's pretty simple to operate one of these tractors. I wanted to make a video real quick just because when I first got these tractors, they were repainted. Like I said in the beginning of the video, everything was covered over. I didn't know a clue what anything did. So I'm hoping this video helped a little bit and encourages you guys to go out, get one of your tractors out there, use it, work it, bring it back to life, because they don't make them no more. And it's better seeing them running around, going to tractor shows or being used in a garden than sitting in a field and rotting away. So, can't wait to do another video like this here soon, as I like helping the community out, especially newcomers, as I was one of you guys at one point. I had not a single clue what anything did or how to do anything on these tractors. So, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Happy tracking.